So Elijah was born with something called amniotic banding syndrome, which resulted in him not being born with the lower part of his left leg. He's also missing some fingers. He's had to have quite a few surgeries on his legs in particular. The bones in his leg keep growing even though there's not a leg for them to grow into, and that's really painful. So this last April, we had the biggest surgery yet, and he underwent what's called the Ertl procedure. He had multiple bones in his leg broken, and that fused together. He had nerves moved and switched around from his hamstring to his calf muscle. Yeah, we prayed a lot about it because it was a surgery that he didn't have to have, but it would allow him to be more productive in the future and possibly not have to have any more surgeries after this. But it was so much more intense than anything he's ever had. So as a mom, that's really hard to make that decision for your kid. Does he go get this surgery that could benefit him greatly, but also is going to be really painful, an incredible recovery? So it was a lot of faith, a lot of praying through it and talking through the benefits and the negatives of what could happen with this. He was in the hospital for 6 days, was unable to walk for 9 weeks, unable to run for 3.5 to 4 months. This is a kid who doesn't ever walk. He's got one speed and it's as fast as can be. I'm talking like from the couch to the kitchen table, he's running. So it was a lot of sitting for him and a lot of pain and a lot of physical therapy that he had to do in order to get himself back to being ready to go. He's a kiddo who plays every sport that there is known to man. So sitting all summer was not something that was easy for him, not to mention the pain and the therapy, the hours he had to do of therapy every single day.
Doing my PT sometimes made me mad because I had to do a lot of it in the right way, and they'd correct me and I'd have to do it over again. But I'm glad I got to run, and I just got to put in the work to run. Well, I got bored a lot, and sometimes I got to have my friends over and they'd play with me and encourage me.
They really increased Elijah's capacity just by encouraging him. He had so many special opportunities where people reached out and just did really awesome things for him. His football team got him a Lamar Jackson jersey. They played a special baseball game so he could play a game before he had to go have surgery. And then just about any time when he was really down and it was a struggle to do his PT, a friend or a mentor or leader would come over, and you could just see it uplift his spirit and really build him up. The community that came around and supported Elijah was something I'll never forget. Just really tangible expressions of them making the miracle happen in him and keeping him motivated and driven. You know, Hope City, we're all in the same boat. It felt like a bunch of people jumped in the boat and started rowing with us. We really focused on our nighttime devotions as a family, and obviously during this same season, Elijah accepted Christ and was baptized, and I think that was something that had been building for probably a couple years, and he had thought about it and asked moms questions about it, but just through being consistent and through our reading and prayer time, he was ready to take the next step. His surgery was on April 27th, and they generally say you're not going to run or jump for 6 months, and the last time that he had a follow-up in July, he was disappointed that he didn't get released to run, and the surgeon said, listen, everybody else I'd be talking to about them being able to run or jump in November, December, and in August you're going to be able to do it. So you have superhuman healing powers, is what he said. So we're trying to balance my daughter's needs with Eli's needs, and Lily needs to be here and go to cross-country practice, and we have work here, so how do we time it out? So I stayed in town until Wednesday morning, and then got up at 4 on Wednesday morning and drove up so that I could meet him at the Protestation first thing.
So I was at work and Tobin was in Oklahoma City, and so I said, you gotta FaceTime me. I wanna see him run for the first time. And he did, and I'm walking out of a meeting so that I can be loud and cheering him on. And when I was talking to Eli afterwards, he was glowing. He had this glow and this smile that I said to Tobin, I said, I haven't seen that smile since April. Like, my boy's back.
He's technically supposed to do 70%. He hasn't been following those guidelines that well.
The fact that Elijah, through all of this, chose to accept Christ in the middle of this season that a lot of people might be extremely frustrated and can't see an end in sight, and why me? God was so present in his life and still talking to him and encouraging him and just, knocking on the door. And it was just very cool to be a part of that, see that happening.